I'm Michael Reese.
And I'm Woods Davis.
And this is the Digital President Podcast.
We've cracked the code for generating customers online for every business model.
In fact, we wrote the book on it.
We've built multiple multi-million-dollar businesses in as little as 90 days. And the one truth that we discovered is
the best business model is doing what you love and living your life by strategy.
You truly can follow your passion and create the life of your dreams,
as long as you have the right strategy.
If you're a real estate agent and you'd like to learn how you can partner with us to help you implement our strategies and systems in your business so you can make a lot more money and have a lot more time freedom, all without ever paying us a penny or giving up a percentage of your commission, go to partnershipdetails.com and schedule a call with us today. While it's fresh in your mind, go to partnershipdetails.com. Now on to the podcast.
All right, welcome to the Digital President Podcast. If you're looking to grow your business, you're in the right place. We help agents who want to leverage funnels, digital marketing, content creation. If you want to attract clients, make sure you head on over to listingclass.com. We actually have a video there where we walk you through what's working right now. There's been a shift in the market. Markets shift all the time. And we have some amazing things with some updated training. So if you haven't went to listingclass.com, or if you just simply want to work with more listing clients, make sure you go check it out. With that being said, today we're going to talk about email marketing. It's probably responsible for more than any other one source of revenue that I've ever had in my business, especially when it comes to online. And we're going to talk about not only why you should do it, how you should do it, and all of the different types of things you can do, things just to maybe get aware of, because awareness is where it starts. We'll give you a simple framework of how to start and who to email. And then at the very end, we'll end you with a couple tips and tricks. It's Michael Reese here with your co-host, Woods Davis. What's up, brother?
What's up, man? Definitely excited to talk about this. This is something that I think a lot of agents are guilty of not emailing their database. One question we ask all the time, man, is, hey, when's the last time you emailed your database? Or how often do you email your database? I think everybody knows they should be doing it, but they don't do it. So hopefully today we can kind of flush out some practical takeaways for people to get busy doing this so they can, improve their business.
Absolutely. And I think people need to understand that, email marketing, first of all, and what Woods is talking about with the database, those are usually people who've given you permission. And if you've followed us for a long time, we don't believe in leads. We believe in homeowners. We believe in relationships. And relationships are built. You earn trust based upon consumption. The more somebody consumes your content, the more they trust you, the more they spend time with you. And for an example, if they don't trust you and they don't spend time with you, the great thing about email is they can always opt out. But there's a lot of different things you should consider when doing email. First of all, email, the one thing that's most important is understanding segmentation when it comes to your database. Segmentation is key. For us, when I first started emailing, I started with what was called broadcast email. Broadcast email was, emailing a segment of my database that was specific to a broad message, right? And so, for instance, maybe it's all my unconverted leads, which would be different than all of my past clients. If I was emailing all my past clients, it might be one message. If I'm emailing all my unconverted leads, it might be another message. But a lot of the times, these people in our database, if you're using the second form of email marketing that we really love to leverage, which is email campaigns, then sometimes you want to take those individuals and not broadcast to them. So there's different things when it comes to communicating to your database specifically, but email marketing is one of those things that it doesn't matter the size of your list. What it matters is the relationship you have with those individuals. And so one thing I want to make sure that everybody knows is I don't believe you can email somebody who is segmented with the right messaging too often, right? Now, if you're not getting them on your list and you don't know the message and you don't have segmentation, then you can be an unwelcome guest or what we would consider as a pest. But if you're doing the front end, the situational opt-in, if you're finding out a little about your customer, if you have your strategy out front, if you understand what it is that your goal is, and you say, okay, here's my database, and here's the people that are going to receive the broadcast emails. Anybody that meets this criteria, which is going to be a large segment of your database, and you can start feeding them and adding value to them, then they'll bring themselves back in front of you based upon when the time is right. And some of your best clients will just hang around and pay attention to you. So, Woods, before I share how I got started emailing to get real estate clients, buyers and sellers, why don't you kind of tell us, what you feel is one of the most important things people need to consider when doing email marketing?
Well, I think there's a couple of things to consider. I think one of the most important things to consider is having a goal. Every time you're sending an email, you should have a goal for that email, whether that's to get them to consume content, which is a lot of the email that we do, because we're trying to nurture the relationship with our database. So we do that by sending them valuable content that they can consume that's going to further develop our relationship, or whether it's a call to action type email where we're trying to get them to click a link to take some kind of action, or maybe give us some kind of response that they are interested in selling their home, or they're thinking about selling within the next 12 months. And so really there's getting really specific with the goal for every email that you send out. Then you can determine what type of email. And there's really two types of emails that we utilize that are really strong in our business. The first type is what we call is just a response type email, where the goal is literally not to get somebody to click a link, to go to a website, to go watch a video, to go do something online. But we just want them to reply. So, when you think about the course of like natural human relationships, just because these people are in a database, it's no different than if they were on your phone and you think about them and you send them a one-off email and expect them to reply back to you. So the response type emails are really simple: plain text, no headers, no images, just like a plain text. Think about it as if you just whipped out your iPhone and opened up an email and typed it out and sent it, expecting somebody to respond. Those emails work really, really well. Now, the pros and cons of those types of emails is obviously if you send those types of emails to a broad segment of your database, if you have a really big segment of your database, you might get a lot of responses. But hey, is that really a bad thing, right? But some of the pros of doing that kind of response is, again, it's just a quick and easy way without thinking through, okay, how do I craft this email that's crafted in a way to get them to click a link, to get them to do some kind of action. It's just really simple. So I really like response type emails. And this is a good way to kind of like shake the trees of your database. If you haven't done it in a while, man, start off by reviving your database. Shoot a quick little response type email. Hey, it's been a while, just wanted to check in, send them, elicit a response. You don't have to just craft this big fancy newsletter template to send out to somebody to get them, to click through to go do some stuff, right? Start simple. And what happens is when people reply to your emails, it actually forms a relationship with the inbox. So whether it's Google, Gmail or Yahoo or Hotmail, they see that you're sending an email to them and then that person is responding to that email. That establishes like a better connection. So when we do send them other types of emails, maybe we send them property alerts, or maybe we send them, a link to a video that we want them to watch, we're more likely to get into the inbox. So I really like using those, especially when we're starting a relationship with somebody on the front end of our database. The other thing is crafting, again, with intention, crafting direct response type of emails where we're trying to get them to take some type of action. I think one of the things that we've discovered, at least in my opinion, that's really valuable is keeping calls to action in emails singular, meaning we're sending a specific email with a specific purpose with a clear call to action. Now, newsletters is another type of thing, and I still believe in that too. I think that you can have more content that people can click on and browse through in that email. However, again, sending kind of like a more focused, directed email. We want you to do one thing. We want you to go watch this video. We're thinking about you. We thought this would be helpful. We just recorded this update. This is what's going on. Go check it out. Right. So those are just a couple of things to think through. In my opinion, are some really important things to think about when you're getting started. What about you, man? What do you think are some valuable things to consider?
What I can tell you is what I did in the past, Woods. I started my first introduction to email marketing for real estate clients started with a market update. We called it the Market Trends Report. From there, that kind of graduated over time. There were services that provided us with more market detail that allowed us to make more compelling messages. Then we graduated into Mojo, which had market updates, but also had, just random information, which was moving closer to the newsletter. I prefer the newsletter. I believe every real estate agent should have the newsletter. And this is just my opinion. I believe that it's all comes to mindset. I believe, you can be extremely talented at anything, but consistency beats talent 100 days out of 100 days. And so, whatever you do something that's going to have more of a long-term strategic integration or be comprehensive with the overall strategy. For me, that was just building relationships. I believe that, I have past clients, they want to stay in contact with me. I want them to remember my name. So I knew a newsletter would hit that segment. I know that to convert my unconverted leads, they need to see proof, demonstration. I have to create interest. And so we call that the triangle of trust method. It's used by a lot of top marketers where, you use different pieces of content to drive somebody to a landing page where there's other content and you have calls to actions, and you do that consistently within what we would consider as a content hub. So imagine a landing page, a video. We're talking about the market update, but they can subscribe to your YouTube channel. They can find out what their home's worth. You can point out those call to actions on the page. They're consistently there in a template format. So whether you're doing your market update, everything's anchored to that. And your database is getting conditioned and opted in. And even when they opt out, you can segment their opt out. Hey, I love the newsletter. Please keep sending me the monthly updates. But opting out of other segmentation. So that I think being consistent, for me, the triangle of trust is kind of the holy grail. I believe it's the holy grail because I believe it builds brand with the audience that was originally cold that you're trying to warm up, right? So you have a cold audience, they engage, they get into your database, and you're trying to warm those people up. You can, it comes to that type in traffic. You can continue to plug that message, what your value proposition is. You can be consistent with kind of an opener in your videos. You can have copy, you can nest all of that. You can launch a podcast. It just gives you a place where everything lives. And honestly, you can get a lot of leverage with other people, right? So we could be done with this video and we could outsource this virtually for someone to transcribe, to pull out the nuggets, to create the email, to send to the database, to embed on the page. When we started, we led with the listing class. So, it could be search friscomls.com if you're looking to buy, if you want to know about all the different incentives, municipal, state, federal grants, go check out this link. And while you're there, if you have the home to sell, or you're just curious what your home is worth, or you want to debate your tax appraisal, go over here, right? So you can create that messaging and repeat yourself a lot and create that brand. And again, get mind share and get market share. And email is one of those things where you can come off those angles. So maybe they don't have a home to sell. Maybe they don't have this, but eventually you're going to get them to that site. And that site's going to be designed for them to learn more and not consume linear. Meaning, we've all been down the rabbit hole before. If you've not been down a rabbit hole, yesterday, I went down a rabbit hole. I won't share, but for the point, for all points in that I'm trying to make is I ended up spending a significant amount of money on something that I had no plan on spending. And I even woke up this morning and regretted it. But I got in the rabbit hole, and it was about $10,000 that I impulsively spent at my desk last night. about 6:30 in the evening, and that started, on a site. And that site had some ads, and then I went here, then I went here, and then it took me down here. And the next thing you know, I was a buyer. And I woke up and I was like, this morning I woke up and I was like, man, I'm glad I bought it. I definitely sold myself and created a narrative. But again, I didn't know that I was going to open an email. And I did open an email, by the way. That's how I got there. I opened an email and, anyway, I'm going to leave it at that. So the point is that I know that works. There's people right now, like a guy that me and Woods just bought from. He's been emailing me for 3 months, and I woke up with a problem. He hit me on my inbox that day. I opened it, called Woods, bought, and bought more. Right, and I'm glad I did.
Bought the upsell, bought it all.
Yeah, and if he wouldn't have sent that email, that person, that marketer, I would have never bought. But I went to my inbox, I was cleaning it out, had a great headline, was in alignment with what I was working on, and something that we're doing, and so I got sucked in, and so don't over. Here's the biggest mistake that you'll make as an agent is you'll think that you're doing it too much. Listen, they don't have to open it. I don't think that if this guy emails me 3 times today or 2 times today, I'm not going to open it, and I'll delete him. If he hits me with a great headline, I'll open it. I like him. I trust him. I got other things on my plate today, but I'm not opting out. And so I think it's and every time that email hits that inbox, it's your name. So that's an impression. So that's what I would do.
Well, what's interesting, man, is, dude, I've talked to real estate agents that have had that same fear of emailing their database for fear that that the people are going to opt out. Like, that's the whole point of the database. They opted in to receive information from you. That's the whole point of building a database. And one thing, I guess, a mindset that I think that is a good mindset to adopt is the idea of digital. We called it digital custody. In fact, before we wrote the book Digital President, quick plug. If you don't have this book, go check out digitalpresidentbook.com. Get a copy of the book. But before we wrote the book Digital President, we were really talking about this whole idea of digital custody, where you take custody over a marketplace or over the people that should be your clients, and you take responsibility for their care and their well-being. You feel obligated to give them the best information to help them before you ever take a penny for them. You feel a need to be preeminent in your marketplace by adding more value to that person up front before they become a client, whether or not they ever become a client, because that's really how you win over relationships, right? And that's how you build relationships up front is when you have that mentality. So if you have that mentality, you should look at your database and you should look at all those names, all those contacts, and all those people, and feel an obligation as their expert advisor, as the person who is responsible for their real estate decisions, that you should feel responsible with arming them with the best information possible in order for them to stay up to date on what's going on in the market, in order for them to be able to make the best decisions, in order for them to know, exactly, how their life is impacted by what's going on in the real estate market, right? So you should feel an obligation to them. And so when you see that big database, it's like, man, it should almost give you anxiety. Oh my gosh, there's 3,000 people in here that I'm responsible for. I need to get information to them. I need to email them. And one easy way to do this, and something that we do, is we create what's called a content calendar. Just look at a calendar, look at the little boxes, and just start writing in and just make a plan. Okay, I'm going to email my database on this day, on this day, on this day, on this day. and that, that's the start of getting a plan, right? So if you're looking for some place to start, create a little calendar and let's start with month 1, right? That'd probably be my advice.
I love it, man. Well, there you go. You should be doing email marketing if you like to learn more about email marketing. In fact, if you want our Shape the Trees, the best emails, best open rates, and you're watching this on our YouTube channel, then go down to the descriptions and there is a link where you can get a copy. And also, again, if you want to get more listings, this is the right time. I'm telling you right now, we're calling it. We're calling our shot. It's time for the real listing agents to please stand up. Head to listingclass.com. If you haven't taken the class, check out the new content. We really appreciate you. If you haven't hit subscribe yet, do it. We do and drop new content every week, and turn on notifications so you can know first. Thank you, Mr. Woods Davis. And like we always say, the best life to live.
Life by strategy.